Well, I bought another car. Yeah. This one I think is a 78 GMC, full-time four-wheel drive, three-quarter ton automatic with a 350 Chevy. This one has been sitting since 2008 is when it was parked. And yeah, I just dragged it home last night on my tow truck. And yeah, I just aired up all the tires. They hold air for now, so I rolled it off the truck. And today we're going to see if it's actually going to run. So let's check it out. So here it is. It's the Sierra Grande trim package. Pretty rusty in the fenders and the rockers. Not horrible, but pretty typical square body stuff. Tires are actively leaking. Don't know if you can hear that. Dual tanks. Got the 80s roll bar in there. The bed looks surprisingly solid, but I'll have to clean it out and see. But overall, not too bad of a truck. I was actually at this property. I bought that van and walked past this thing just briefly and saw it was a four-wheel drive. And I opened my mouth and made an offer. I didn't even look at it. And sure enough, the lady called me back and said that she'd take my offer. So I ended up buying it, and I'm actually pretty happy with the condition of it. So see if this old girl will run. It's got the real name brand Lund visor. That's always pretty neat. Interior's pretty typical square body Chevy stuff. Got the saddle blanket seat cover, gun rack, cracked dash, all the usual stuff. But it's not in too bad a shape. There's a couple jugs of coolant there, so I would guess it probably leaks coolant. But it does have oil, and it does have coolant. And it doesn't look bad either. So we'll find out. Pretty typical square body gauge cluster there. Unfortunately, somebody's already buckled the hood because of the hinges seizing up, but then they also added some angle iron in there, so see how well that works. But everything looks like it's there. It looks like just a bone stock 350 other than a HEI distributor. And, you know, it's a small block Chevy and a square body, so it shouldn't take too much to get running. It is all painted blue, which is kind of interesting. It tells me that maybe this was out at some point and somebody freshened it up and painted it and put it back in. But first thing, I may just toss a battery in this and see what happens. Well, this Walmart battery here has now been in 3 of my Will It Run vehicles. And it looks like somebody's stolen the cable ends off of this. So you guys are gonna have to forgive me for this. I never do stuff like this, but I don't really want to spend any money on this thing until I'm sure it's gonna run. So this is what's gonna happen. And I know that these are only like $8, but I just really don't want to go out right now. So I'm gonna pick them up later. See what happens. Now, when I decided to buy it, they didn't have any keys, but the steering wheel was turned all the way to the right and locked, so it was gonna be a real pain to load. And this lady's husband decided to look through this old house and found the keys in a cigar box, if you can believe that. And they're labeled Stinky 78 GMC. Not sure why it's stinky, but we'll see. Well, the voltmeter moves. Nothing else seems to do anything. Let's try the starter. Oh, it does crank. Cranks pretty good. Looks like it's full oil. And it smells like oil. Smells like a little bit of gas too, but well, just for curiosity's sake, give it a little drink here and we'll see what happens. Just a little bit so I don't catch the whole thing on fire. See if we can do something about that. So I don't imagine this thing would be too happy after sitting for 17 years and starting and immediately going full throttle. Guess the throttle return spring would be helpful. Wow. It sounded pretty good. Might not have to do anything to this old thing. Check the oil again. Yeah, still there. Well, she's a runner. Well, I'd say she's gonna run pretty good. Oil pressure gauge started moving up on that last one. So I'm gonna let it sit for a minute and may try and investigate the fuel system a bit. See if the pump works and see if there's any old varnishy fuel in those tanks, and then go from there. All right, here's the setup. We've got the battery hooked up to the marine batteries charged by a solar panel on the roof of my van. And we got a fuel system set up on an intravenous drip here, so super safe and super legit. And with any luck, this thing will run and stay running. And I'm hoping to see the fuel pump all the old fuel out of this line right here. We'll see. She runs good and pumps fuel a lot. Well, I'm actually going to go ahead and put in a new filter and hook that fuel line up back to the carb, because believe it or not, I've had vehicles that start up and ran on 20-year-old fuel and they ran just fine. But then I've had vehicles with 5-year-old fuel that was so varnishy they couldn't even hardly ignite. So we'll see. It'd be nice to run all that old stuff through it and burn it up and not have to dispose of it otherwise. So we'll give that a shot. Okay, we've got a new fuel filter in there and haven't done anything else. We'll see if it starts up and runs on its own. Look at that fuel. But it's running fine on it so far. Take these jumper cables off. Oh. Wonder if that's just a choke. She sounds pretty good. Oh man. Whoops. Well, the fuel pump quit working, I think. You can see it's just not filling up that filter much at all. Just barely. We should have a lot more fuel pressure than that. So I think I'm going to be buying a fuel pump for this thing. I'm surprised it's still running, actually. Yeah, it just doesn't have the fuel pressure to keep up. So I got some real battery cable ends there, so we can forget that whole vice grip fiasco. I did buy a new fuel pump, but before I put that on, I realized that I think the left fuel tank is out of fuel. So I switched it to the right, and it seemed like it did switch. And I think there's fuel in that, so I think it'll run. Look at that. Sitting for 18 years, and it pretty much fired right up with a new battery. Doesn't get much better than that. She runs pretty dang good too. It's a little smoky, but hopefully the rings just need to reseat. Pretty sweet. Let's see. Wow, it's even got turn signals still. Nah, I didn't think they'd work, but probably just a bulb. Look at that, still got one turn signal. Well, I'm gonna let it warm up a little bit. Make sure it's going to run consistently, air up this tire, and we might see if this thing moves. Well, I aired up the tire, and it's still running. It's nice and warm now. Seems like it's running pretty good. Just a little smoky still. But I'm going to try and drive this thing. It doesn't really feel like it has any brakes, or if it does, it's very little. So we'll see how this goes. driving shots for you guys. Just adjusted the mixture a little bit. It's running pretty rich. I think she could use some timing still, but brakes stay working before I drive by the house. Well, not too bad for sitting for however long it was, 17 years or something like that. I'm still going to go ahead and do a tune-up, you know, oil change, plugs, all that, and then I got to check the timing, probably retime it and get it running a little better. Kind of stumbles a little bit, but I think that's probably going to be it for this video. But yeah, it's always good to get another one of these old cars back on the road and breathe some new life in it. So yeah, and I am going to say that we will be back on my weekly Friday upload. Sorry I've been missing videos for a couple weeks. I've had a lot of family stuff going on, just haven't been able to post. So we'll be back to posting a new video every Friday at 5 o'clock Mountain Time. So be sure to look for that if you like this video. And yeah, that's about it, and I'll see you guys in the next one.